Good morning, children. Today we are going to conclude the last part remaining of the chapter, The Mask. So, till now we have got to know about the character of Rajan Babu, and also he had taken a paying guest in his house, that was Tinkori Babu. And recently he also received a threatening letter, and behind the threatening letter, who were the suspects, we have got to know it, but till now we have not got to know about any culprit. And next we also found out that a shocking incident had happened where Rajan Babu saw a masked face at the midnight. Now that was also being trying to get solved by Feluda, while he asked the doctor that if he had gone outside, if he had gone out to check any patient, because he saw that there was a streak of mud on the jacket of the doctor. And after all this investigation, while this investigation were going on, in the meantime, what happened? Tinkori Babu, he left for Calcutta, giving an excuse that he won't be able to leave for Calcutta after 10 days. There was no such urgency, okay, on the part of Tinkori Babu to leave Darjeeling, because he could have stayed, but he gave the reason that he could have gone late, but if he delays, if he stays back, he is not going to get any ticket for the next 10 days. So he had to leave urgently. And then, because of that shocking incident which happened at night, Rajan Babu was terribly shocked, and as such he fell sick. So to take care, or just to make sure that Rajan Babu is protected, Feluda and Topshi decided to stay back. So while they decided this, they went for their work at the time of day, and then they came back at night to pass the night at Rajan Babu's room. Sorry, Rajan Babu's house, and then Rajan Babu showed them their room, the guest room, maybe we can say, where they had to stay. Now let's see from paragraph number 29. Feluda stretched out on the bed and said, I did some investigation in the afternoon, and both Prabir and Ghoshal were at a party from 9 pm to 3 am. Now we have to remember, we have to recall ourselves that we had got three suspects. Those were, firstly, the first suspect was Dr. Foni Mitra, second was Mr. Ghoshal, and the third one was Prabir Majumdar, Rajan Babu's own son. Now, while Feluda made those investigation, he tried to search, or he tried to find out who might have done that incident that happened at midnight. So from that, from his investigation, he found out that both Prabir, that means Rajan Babu's son, and Ghoshal were at a party from 9 pm to 3 am. That means they were all occupied. These two persons, these two suspects were occupied within that time while the incident had happened. That means these two persons, Prabir and Ghoshal, could not have done that, had not done that, or rather we can say. And then what happens? Now one person is left, that is Dr. Foni Mitra. Foni Mitra might have done that. Let's see if he has. That man wearing a mask came here soon after midnight, didn't he? I asked. I is Topshi referred here. So that man wearing a mask came here soon after midnight. So this was the investigation, or we can say that in the sort of realization, we can say that they were discussing the things. Both Feluda and Topshi were discussing the things so that they could come to a conclusion. So Topshi asked that wasn't that man, or didn't that man come during the midnight or after the midnight? Yes, said Feluda, and left the room abruptly. Topshi just simply asked a question, or he just tried uh, to use his imagination. Now, Feluda, something strike in his mind. There was something going in his mind, and so he said yes, and he left the room abruptly. Now, abruptly means while you say something and without any warning, without any message or anything, you just leave. Feluda just left the room all of a sudden, we can say. That is called abruptly. I lay on the bed and must have dozed off. On the one hand, Feluda had already left the room, and as Topshi was alone in the room, so what he did, he was lying on the bed, so he went to sleep. Okay, he was feeling sleepy. He almost went to sleep. I woke up with a jolt when I sensed the presence of someone else in the room. So it happens with us, no, that we are just lying down on the bed, but uh, we get a feeling that we are going to sleep, or we have dozed off till that time. Almost we have felt sleepy. Now, all of a sudden, what happened? Topshi realized that there was someone else in the room, because he knew that he was alone in the room because Feluda had left. But all of a sudden, he realized that there was someone else in the room, and my blood froze. I opened my eyes and saw a man's face come closer. You just imagine this thing, that a person was sleeping, was almost sleeping. He had not completely slept, but was about to sleep, or was maybe in the mood of sleeping. And then all of a sudden he just wakes up and he sees in front of himself a face. Okay, a face, mask face, sorry, man's face coming closer. Oh, how horrible it was! A mask, a masked face. Now, the same kind of incident happened with Topshi. The same incident which had happened with Rajan Babu, that incident repeated with Topshi. I opened my mouth to scream. Even you can imagine yourself, if this case happens with you, then what would be your reaction? You might have imagined by now that at a particular time you are just about to sleep, and all of a sudden you wake up, and just in front of you you see that a man is bending over you, or a masked face is bending over you, and that too, that mask seems to be a very horrible one. So what would be your reaction? Obviously you will feel very scared. You will be trying to scream. So the same thing even Topshi did. He opened his mouth to scream when the person pulled the mask away, and my scream became a nervous gasp. Now, Topshi was trying to scream, or we can say he was about to scream, but at that very time, when he realized that the man, or the masked face, that person had taken off the mask from his face, and maybe he realized that he knows the person, and uh, this Topshi, who was about to scream, that scream turned into a nervous gasp. Okay, it just happened that he just whistled out, maybe, but he did not scream. It was not a scream. Feluda, oh my god, it's you! And while he saw the person taking off the mask, he realized that this person was none other than Feluda. The person was Feluda, who was standing in front of him wearing that mask. Of course, it's me. He raised the mask. I was trying on all the masks in the living room. Why don't you wear this one for a second? He passed me his mask. I wore it. Now, on the one hand, Topshi was totally frightened. Okay, you just can imagine what the situation was at that time. And all of a sudden, he saw Feluda taking off the mask, and he was just about to scream at that time, but that turned into a nervous whistle. And he said that, Feluda, it's you. So Feluda replies that yes, it's me. I was, and he he tells Topshi that he was trying on all the masks that was in the living room, okay, living room of Rajan Babu. Why don't you wear this one for a second? And he passed that mask which he was wearing, which he had taken off from his face, he passed the mask to Topshi. Can you sense something unusual? While Topshi wore the mask, Feluda asked him, after wearing, can you feel something? Can you sense something? Why? No, it's a size too large for me, that's all. He didn't realize much. He just said that while I wore it, I felt that the mask size and my face size, it differs quite a lot. My face is much smaller than the size of the mask, or can we say that the face size of the mask is much larger than my face. It doesn't suit, or it doesn't fit. Now see, think carefully. Isn't there anything that might strike you as odd? Topshi just replied about the size. That was very normal. It can happen with us if we try anything. Then that's a very normal thing. That's just on the surface that we'll realize that it's very larger. So it's okay. But Feluda stressed that you think more carefully. Do you realize something more? Well, there's a faint smell, I think. Topshi, after thinking some more, he realized, or he told that yes, I can sense a kind of smell that is fainted. Fainted means here that's not quite strong, but a smell which has already been, in the mediocre sense, that has almost gone off, kind of thing. Okay, so Topshi replied that yes, I can realize a smell. Of what? Feluda asked, what is the smell of? What do you think is the smell of? Topshi replies, Chirut. He was trying to sense it. He was not sure. If you see properly, then just after the word Chirut, here there is a question mark. In the first part, in the 39 point, it is given here of what? That means Feluda is asking to Topshi that what do you feel the smell is of? Now while answering, Topshi replies in a way of questioning. Is it the smell of Chirut? He is in such a mood. Exactly. And Feluda says, yes, exactly. My heart started to beat faster because the Chirut smell is only linked with Tinkori Babu. And if we see properly, if we put the pieces together, then in every incident, whenever whatever had happened, Tinkori Babu was present, and we had not, our eyes or our doubt had not gone towards him, but he was present there. My heart started to beat faster again. Tinkori Babu, I stammered. He was stammering. He could not speak properly because he had realized that the Chirut is related with Tinkori Babu, and that means he might have done the work. Because the last incident which happened at midnight, that was related with Tinkori Babu and the masked face, because that was the same mask which Rajan Babu had pointed out that the person at midnight was wearing that mask. So let's see. Feluda sighed. He said, yes, I'm afraid so. But what I do not understand is his motive. If we see from the very beginning, Tinkori Babu entered Rajan Babu's house with a very nice motive that to stay in his house just as a paying guest. Even he also told about his weakness for Chirut, so that being a owner, okay, being the landlord of the house, Rajan Babu should not have any problem with the habit of Tinkodi Babu that was related with Chirut. So we can say, we can label Tinkodi Babu as a nice person, because he tried to keep things honest with the landowner. He tried to keep things proper, okay, clean. But if we realize in this way, if the things now turn out to be in this way, then why did Tinkodi Babu have to do that? But what I do not understand is his motive. Why did he do that? If he had done this, then why? What was the reason? He seemed to respect Rajan Babu a lot. Then why then did he do something like this? Perhaps we shall never know. Because Tinkodi Babu had already left for Calcutta and he was not going to return back. Rajan Babu was absolutely shaken when we told him about this the next morning. The night had passed on that way, and the next morning Feluda and Topshi, they told everything Rajan Babu in detail, that how and why the incidents had happened. As we were talking, Rajan Babu received a letter. See, another letter. He opened it with trembling hands and read it aloud. Now, be very attentive and be very careful, because now the truth is going to come out, the reasons are going to be stated, and that brings a lot of information for you. Let's see. Dear Raju. Now, who's this Raju? Raju is referring to Rajan Babu. That's the short name of Rajan Babu. If you are wondering who I am and why I did this, here is the story. Now, the reason starts to be coming out. I am the boy whom you had tripped. Tripped means made to fall down in that 100-yard race on our sports day 50 years ago. I not only missed the medal in that race, but was also seriously injured. Unfortunately, my father got transferred to a different town soon after the incident, and I never got a chance to have a showdown with you. So you never realized how deeply you had hurt me, both physically and mentally. I didn't know about you till I came to stay in your house and saw your childhood photograph, and then I thought of doing something that would cause you a great deal of anxiety and trouble you for a short time. I meant to do no harm. This was my way of punishing you for your past sins. Now, if you remember in the letter, in the first letter, in the threatening letter, in the very beginning of the story, we had learned that it was written that be prepared for your sins. So this now in this part, in this letter, the sin, sin, sin is described here. Now, according to the letter, a story is revealed here that happened 50 years ago. That means Rajan Babu and Tinkuri Babu, they were friends, or maybe they were childhood friends, or maybe we can say that they were in the same school or maybe in the same class. Anyhow, we can imagine, but they knew each other during the time of childhood, okay, during their childhood. So Tinkuri Babu is the person, is the boy, okay. Actually, what happened 50 years ago, there were two children. So one of the children had made the other fall down while they had participated in a 100-meter race. Okay, and also what happened, while the person or while the boy had made the other boy fall down, so the other boy could not run the race, and that's how he not only missed the medal but also was seriously injured, okay, as because he was made to fall down, or he actually that was nothing intentional, okay, because as we have known the character of Rajan Babu, he was a very gentle person, so he did not have done that, he could not have done that. But the boy upon whom the this thing had happened, or maybe we can name as Tinkori Babu. So because Tinkori Babu had fallen down, so this he thought as a way that maybe Rajan Babu had tried to make him fall down, that was intentionally, but actually not, okay. Now how the story goes is, as he was made to fall down, so he could not even run the race, and he missed the medal that maybe he could have won, and also he was seriously injured in the race. And unfortunately after that his father got transferred to some other town, and so he also had to go with his father, and that's why he could not get the opportunity to take any revenge on Rajan Babu. So that's how he missed that part. Now while he met Rajan Babu during this time, and while he came to his house and saw the childhood photograph of Rajan Babu, he realized that this person is the same boy that made Tinkori Babu fall down that 50 years ago, okay. And then I thought of doing something that would cause you a great deal of anxiety and trouble you for a short time. Now remember one thing, Tinkori Babu's motive was not to harm, do any serious kind of harm to Rajan Babu. He just only wanted that Rajan Babu should also go through the same feeling of anxiety and trouble, that too for a short time, okay. I meant to do no harm. Do remember this. This was my way of punishing you for your past sins, because the way Tinkori Babu had suffered both mentally and physically, he wanted that Rajan Babu should also suffer in that way. Now that it's over, let's forget about it and move on with our lives. Now the thing had already over in the past. While that was over, I wanted to take a revenge. I already had taken it. Now my part is also over, your part is also over, so I don't want to keep any grudge. So let's forget about all these things and just move on with our life. So don't worry, or don't think about anything anymore. And he left he concluded his letter with good wishes, yours sincerely, Tinu. Maybe we can say that the nickname of Tinkori Babu is Tinu. And the most important thing here is the full name of Tinkori Babu, that is Tinkori Mukhopadhyay. Do remember this name and check the spelling properly. Okay, so this is all about the story of the mask. Hope you had liked it, and if there is any part which is not clear to you, then we will discuss it in our live class, so be ready with that. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.